Hi students, welcome back to another episode of Mr. Lim explaining your past year papers to you. Basically, now we are going to look at Admirity Secondary School 2019 paper, paper 2. Okay, so let's start off with the first question. So this is the answer. Basically, when we talk about wave, this is a wave that you should see. Okay, in this question, they are looking for a wavelength of 8 cm and an amplitude of 2 cm. Okay, so what we need you to do is basically from the rest position to the highest point and rest position to the lowest point, it must be 2. Okay, next up, the wavelength, basically a complete wave will have to take 8 cm. Okay, so I should have start to end 8 cm. Okay, so this is one possible answer. The other possible answer would be to use start at 2, okay, but you break off at different points. Okay, so usually we don't draw that because you'll get confused very easily. Okay, so I recommend your kids stick to this. Okay, next up, part B. Okay, part B, you have to keep a few things in mind. Okay, for this question, they have already given you the suggested answers up there, so you keep to that. Okay, but in the case where they don't give you, then you should keep a few rules in mind. Okay, one of the rules would be for X-rays, X has to be capital letter. Okay, infrared, there should not be a dash. Okay, and microwave is actually one word. Okay, so for this is the confusing one. For part 3, usually GPS will say it's using microwave. Okay, but in reality, this is the part of the wave where some people disagree and they say that it's actually radio wave. For our syllabus, let's keep it to microwave. Okay. Okay, next question, question 2. Now for this question down here, okay, we are talking about the hair dryer. So hair dryer, actually it will convert the electrical energy that is input or supplied, okay, into two forms, okay, or in fact 3 different forms. Okay, the main one will be the thermal energy. Another accepted answer in this case would be kinetic energy, because you have the fan spinning inside and you blow out the hot air that is heated up by the heater, so the thermal portion. Okay, so you can actually use kinetic energy as an answer, okay, in this particular question. Okay, next up, hair dryers are fitted with safety features for safe use. Okay, so when you talk about safe use, there are a few, okay, that is actually fitted into the appliance itself. So fuse switch, double insulation, earth wire is also one possible answer. Okay, so you just need to say 2 of these. Okay, any 2, so even earth wire. Yeah. Okay, part C is very straightforward. They ask you to calculate the energy in terms of kilowatt hours. Okay. Oh, sorry, I have presented it wrongly. It should be 2.2 kilowatt multiplied by 0.5 hours, and hence I'll get 1.1 kilowatt hour. Okay. Now for the next question, you have to be a bit more careful because they are asking for 30 days. Okay, so this cost of electricity without the 30 here, 1.1 times 23.85, okay, actually will tell you how much is it for one use. Okay, but you need 30 days. Okay, so 30 days means you need to multiply by 30 and you get 787.05 cents. Okay, but the final answer, actually they want you to present in terms of dollars. So when they want to present in terms of dollars, you have to shift your decimal place to the left 2 times. Okay, and that's how you get $7.87. Always keep your dollar money in terms of dollar to 2 decimal places. Okay, so for those who are confused, every $1 is 100 cents. Okay, for those who are very confused about what's the conversion like. Okay, next, in question 3, how long does the cyclist stay at rest? So you notice that the start of the rest is actually at 1, the end of the rest time is at 2.5. Okay, this flat plateau here is actually the rest. How I know how I know that he's at rest? When you are at 40 kilometers for a very long time and you're not moving from that spot, you must be resting. Okay, so from then on, once you know that this is 1.5 hours, okay, you need to look at the next question already. The next question asks you what's the speed of the cyclist X in the first hour. Okay, first 1 hour. So distance divided by time would be the formula. Speed equals the distance divided by time. Okay, 40 divided by 1, you get 40 kilometers per hour. Please take note. Please take note. Check the units. Okay, so if they want you to present the answer in meters per second, you need to convert your distance into meter and time into seconds. Okay, so please read carefully. Part C. At which time interval was the cyclist traveling at the fastest? Okay, so time interval will be 2.5 hours here to 3.0 hours here. Okay, so travel fastest means the graph that you see here, the part which is the steepest, okay, in terms of gradient. So we notice that 2.5 to 3 hours here, the gradient here is the steepest. Okay, next up, the next question 4. Okay, over here you see a transformer and they tell you that the primary coil is 300 turns, the secondary coil is 900 turns. So once you see this, secondary coil is more than primary coil, so this must be a step-up transformer. Okay, and metal that is used for a transformer in the center, this is actually iron. It must be iron. Okay, part B. Okay, part 1 here is a bit ambiguous on what they actually want. Okay, so when I check the final answer after I attempted, okay, they actually suggested a few. So first off, this must be chemical potential energy. Okay, fossil fuels always have chemical potential energy. Okay, but the final energy that they produce, depending on which part of the power plant you're looking at. Okay, so if I talk about the furnace, then the fossil fuel would be basically going to generate the thermal energy, the heat energy for short. Okay, but if you look at the overall outcome, the power plant would also produce electrical energy at the end. So chemical potential energy would convert into electrical energy. So these are 2 suggested answers that was approved. Okay, part 2. Explain why a high voltage is being used for transmission of electricity through the transmission line. Basically, we want to have high voltage because we want to reduce the energy loss to heat in transmission line, okay, by reducing current. Okay, so when we reduce the current, we are actually reducing the heat that is potentially going to generate a lot of heat in the transmission line. Okay, so for this to happen, okay, transformer A must convert the voltage to a very high voltage, so that means it must be a step-up transformer here. Okay, question 5, the food preservation method. Okay, you need to know part of it. In fact, for this canning, I wasn't very sure at the start, but dehydration and pasteurization I was very sure. So after joining these 2, I would be able to identify that canning is basically to reduce oxygen. Okay, dehydration is to reduce the water amount, water content. Pasteurization, basically the idea of pasteurization is to heat up the food, or in many cases milk, okay, to a higher temperature before cooling it down. Okay, so when we do that, we raise it to a higher temperature, we are trying to kill off as many microbes as possible, okay, before cooling it down. Okay, so name a type of food that uses pasteurization. Any of the dairy products will be your answer. Milk, cheese, yogurt, okay, all these will have to undergo pasteurization first. Okay, part C. If you eat too much food additives, what will be your health problem? Okay, so food additives include salt, sugar, okay, anything that is added to food to change its texture, nutritional value, and so on and so forth. Okay, so if you think about that, then certain things like the sulfur dioxide, okay, which is used for preservation of these dried fruits, okay, then it will lead to allergic reactions. Okay, but if we talk about sugar, salt, and all these, it will actually lead to health problems like diabetes and obesity. So choose any answer that you can remember. Okay, and hopefully, I do hope that you get this right. Okay, so next question 6. Okay, matching again. So this one is actually very straightforward as well. Find the condition and relate it to the health condition itself. Okay, so if you have anything to do with the airways, breathing difficulty, most likely is going to be bronchitis. Bone density, we learned that bone density is actually related to osteoporosis. Okay, joints, okay, if the joints are inflamed, then it would be arthritis. Okay, so what are the ways to reduce the condition whereby bone density becomes decreases and bone become brittle? Basically, they're talking about osteoporosis here. Okay, so how do we reduce osteoporosis? Yeah, so this is the question actually. Yeah, so basically you need to eat more products that is high in cheese or milk, high in calcium, high in calcium. So food like cheese, milk, all these would be the answer here. Okay, if you want, okay, basically, sorry, if you have forgotten, okay, we need to also understand that calcium and vitamin D goes hand in hand. Okay, so there, other than this, which has high calcium, you can also suggest food with high vitamin D. Okay, so what are food that has high vitamin D? Oily fishes, okay, eggs are also possible answers. Okay, so oily fishes like salmon, okay, cod liver, cod, and so on and so forth. Okay, and eggs. Okay, so these are all possible answers there. Okay, for part B. Okay, so other than high in calcium, also high in vitamin D. These two will always go hand in hand because vitamin D helps in getting the body to absorb more calcium. Okay, question 7. Okay, this one is a bit ambiguous, but if you look very carefully, this lady is enjoying her daily activities for several hours each day. So you notice that she's watching TV. Okay, so in this case, there are many possible answers here. This lady is obese, so probably lack of exercise. She's watching TV for many hours, which leads to lack of exercise. Okay, she's eating all these convenience food, right? Your cupcake, looks like Coke here, maybe. Then you have pizza. Okay, so looks like it's actually food high in fats or eating convenience food. Okay, so you need to list out at least one of the unhealthy habit that you think is being shown here. Okay, next up, suggest one possible health problem that the lady might face. Basically, you have lack of exercise, you have unhealthy food. Okay, most likely she's going to get obesity related diseases. Okay, so heart diseases, diabetes are possible answers. Okay, question 8. Okay, this part here, okay, is actually the gullet or esophagus. So you can name any of the two as the answer. Okay, down here, this thing is actually the stomach. Okay, so where is these fats being digested? Okay, fats is only digested at the small intestine. Okay, so please remember what part of the digestive system digests which nutrient. Okay, so I shall jot down quickly over here. Okay, for the mouth, okay, it actually only digests carbohydrates. For the stomach, proteins. Okay, for the small intestine, it will be all three: fats, carbohydrates, okay, and proteins. Okay, so small intestine does quite a fair bit of job. Other than that, other than digestion, digesting food, it also absorbs. Okay, on the other hand, large intestine would absorb also. Okay, so large intestine will absorb the water, mineral salts, okay, and the vitamins. Yeah. Okay, part C, for this particular question, if you look carefully over here, okay, the time taken for the food to digest actually is the shorter the time, the better it is. Okay, so down here in this question, they want the enzyme to work the fastest, so I must look at the lowest point. The lowest point will be here, okay, which would go down to pH of about 7.5. Okay. Okay, next question, question 9. Okay, again, refer to the graph, okay, to answer the question. So, which number of cigarettes has a high rate of increase in the risk of cancer? So, if you follow the graph, notice that after 3, when it becomes 4, the risk of cancer suddenly jumps by almost double. Okay, so 4 cigarettes is the answer, not between. 4 cigarettes is the answer. Okay, name 2 negative impacts of cigarette smoke on your body. There are, I think, 4 or 5 of them. Okay, lung cancer, bronchitis, heart diseases, addiction. Okay, nicotine addiction are possible answers. They just name any 2. Okay, next up, research has shown that passive smokers are also at risk. What is passive smoking? Passive smoking is the breathing in of cigarette smoke from others. You cannot, I repeat again, you cannot write second hand smoke. Okay, please do not write that. Okay, because that's a layman term actually. Okay, part D, the body requires oxygen to function normally. Okay, suggest the reason why oxygen is needed for the body to function normally. Basically, when we talk about respiration is the process where body takes in oxygen, okay, and takes in your digested food to produce energy. Yeah, so if you do not have the energy, then of course you will not have the life. Okay, so therefore for this particular question, okay, basically you need oxygen for respiration, okay, to produce energy. Okay, part E, state the test for the presence of water vapor in exhaled air. Okay, so when we want to test whether water vapor is present, okay, we are going to use cobalt chloride paper. But writing cobalt chloride paper is insufficient. Okay, you also need to mention what is the change if water vapor is present. So in the case here, cobalt chloride is blue in nature. Okay, so when water vapor is present, it will change from blue to pink. Okay, so please take notes of the color change. Okay, next, question 10. You want food that has high vitamin C, so basically oranges or any citrus fruits will be the answer. So you can even write grapefruit, okay, or even grapes itself. Vitamin D, okay, where do we get vitamin D from? Vitamin D, we can actually get it from eggs or any oily fishes. Okay, oily fishes here refer to salmon, cod, okay, all these are natural good oily fishes. Okay, part B requires you to analyze the data a little bit, because they talk about which of the water, Vita water, is actually most acidic. So for acidic conditions, okay, pH would be lower than 7. For the most acidic here, pH 3 is actually the most acidic. Okay, so for those who have forgotten, 7 is neutral. Okay, 1 is here. Okay, so anything below 7 is called acidic. Anything above 7 is called alkali. Okay, usually up to 14. Okay, so please remember this. Yeah. Okay, part 2, basically we know that it's an acid. So when acid reacts with baking soda. Baking soda contains carbonate, okay, sodium carbonate here. So acid plus, basically they're actually asking you acid plus carbonate. Okay, what is produced? So in this particular reaction, acid plus carbonate will give us salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. Okay, and out of these three, salt, water, and carbon dioxide is the only one that is a gas. So this is actually what they want. Okay, so please read the question very carefully again. Okay, next question. Okay, the last page I have here. Question 11. What are the benefits of slash and burn? Okay, so there are 4 benefits of slash and burn other than fast and cheap way to clear land. Okay, when you burn the land, okay, there are a few other ways. When you burn the land, okay, basically you are going to kill off all the pests and diseases that was originally present on the land itself. So that's the second possible answer. Third possible answer is the ashes from the burnt vegetation, okay, burnt crops or burnt vegetation can be used as fertilizer, so you keep the land fertile. Okay, so 3 possible answers, sorry, not 4. Okay, what are the problems that it might cause? It actually causes haze. Another thing that it can cause is soil erosion, loss of natural habitats, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there are a few possible answers as well. Okay, so just name any of them. You cannot say that it causes, you cannot say that the slash and burn causes eye irritation. You cannot say that it causes breathing difficulty. Okay, because eye irritation, breathing difficulty, all these are actually problems of the haze. Haze causes them, not slash and burn. Okay, so to reiterate what I've just mentioned, okay, I shall write it down over here. Okay, slash and burn causes haze or air pollution. Okay, it also causes this loss of natural habitats because the natural habitats are burnt away. Okay, it also causes soil erosion. Okay, now this haze or air pollution, in fact, is just haze alone. Haze will cause this cough. Okay, these raised air temperatures. Okay, and last but not least, what else does it cause? Cough, air temperature. It also cause the slip off my mind, I can't remember, there's one more. Okay, so slash and burn doesn't cause a cough. Slash and burn doesn't poor visibility, now I remember. Okay, slash and burn doesn't cause cough, raised air temperature, or poor visibility. In fact, it is the haze that causes these 3. Okay, so you cannot say slash and burn causes cough, slash and burn causes air temperature, raised air temperature, and you can also not say slash and burn causes poor visibility. You cannot say this. Okay, you can say this though. Okay, so please take note of this. Okay, next. Part B, in fact, Part B, majority of it actually came from past year paper. I can't remember which particular year. If you analyze it very carefully, you'll be able to say, or you're able to see that the PSI, the highest PSI would be 57 in North. Okay, for this particular question. Okay, Part 2, which part is the healthiest air quality? So if you look at the diagram again, okay, the part with the lowest PSI is actually 48. Okay, and East would be the answer. Okay, Part C. I personally think is a repetitive answer here. but just let's just answer it. Think about your normal. In fact, we have gone through so many years of haze. Every single year around May to June, we will experience it. So what does haze do? Okay, it's the first question that you need to ask yourself. Okay, and why do we actually wear the mask? Okay, why do we want to wear the mask during haze period? So the mask that we talk about is basically acting as a filter to prevent or reduce the breathing in of harmful particles in the air. Okay, so basically that's the job of the mask itself. Okay, but we will also receive advisory of reducing the exercise outside. So remember, the PSI level, other than good, moderate, unhealthy, very unhealthy, and hazardous, they also explain, or the recommendations will be good, you can go out as per normal to exercise, moderate, reduce physical activity. Okay, unhealthy, stop all physical activity, and so on and so forth. Okay, all these you can actually find at the NEA website. Okay, so why do we want to reduce the physical activity, reduce exercising? Okay, so basically when we exercise, we tend to breathe very fast. Okay, so if you want to breathe very fast, okay, you need to take in a lot of air. Okay, and when you do that during exercising, normally we don't wear the mask during exercising. So what will happen is that we will be breathing much more of the polluted air. Okay, and it might increase the chance of us facing breathing difficulties or eye irritation, and so on and so forth. Okay, another possible answer that I think might also answer is, remember we talked about haze increasing the air temperatures. Yeah, so when haze increases the air temperatures, basically our body would overheat very easily. Okay, so air temperatures are higher during a haze, and this might lead to heat exertion. Okay, so I'm not very sure whether this is a good answer or not, but I think that this might be the answer as well. Okay, so with this, I end my presentation of the answers for Admirity Secondary School mid-year paper. Okay, I'll see you all next time.